So we've got an interesting practice tonight because it's quite a functional practice. And I want to continue what we were doing with the shoulders last week. Now remember, if you have got one shoulder that's not as good as the other, I'll give you modifications. It's all right to have one shoulder doing one thing or one arm doing one thing and one arm doing the other. So don't worry if they're not that even. So if you can get one arm up here and the other arm only goes to here, so be it. Just that you're recognizing that that's where you're at. So usually we are going to actually get you to start standing. So if you've laid down, I'm going to break all the rules and get you up to a standing position. And we're just going to do our warm-ups in a standing position so that we can start to bring some mobility to the upper body and ideally into the shoulder joint. Now, what I'm going to get you to do, any arm will do. Just going to start by extending and rotating the arm. So we're just drawing some circles in the air with an arm. So just taking that sense. Remember, we've done this before. When you're doing this movement, you're thinking about slowly moving against gravity and then quickly releasing the arm back and down. So just get that sense of opening and releasing and moving. Now, the sad thing is that we need to do this to release synovial fluid to the joint. And to get that message through, you need to have a little bit of achy arm in there. So just to send that chemical message from the brain to the shoulder to release that lovely synovial fluid to the joint. Okay, change direction. Nice. Sense again, just noticing how it feels. It's going to feel a little bit achy. Try and stay with it. Try and soften the knees a little bit. But still getting that sense of space, release, a little bit slower as you move against gravity, and then quicker as you release with gravity. Good. Take 3 more. Good, and then let that arm hang, just give it a little shake out. We'll be coming back to it, but I'll be kind. And then we'll start on the other arm. So again, moving the arm. And you're going to say to me, how many? I mean, I think probably we're looking at around about a minute each way. Around about. I'm not timing it. But that's the kind of thing we should be looking at. Spending about 3 minutes on each arm. So we're going to do 2 minutes of the circles, and then we're going to add in some figure of eights. Again, if you're feeling any sense of the movement moving into your back, just soften the knees. Try and just feel that concentration on the movement. And then we'll change direction. Now, when we're thinking about the shoulder, it's a very complex joint. And we want to be thinking about moving the shoulder joint, yes, but also being able to connect with other areas of the shoulder that can help us with movement. So this is just one part, this rotation, this rotator cuff area. I'm sure you've heard of that rotates the arm in the shoulder joint. But there are so many more pieces that add into this complex movement that we have, this complex mobility that we have. Good, yeah, should be aching by now. That ache just going to give you that sense of feeling that chemical response. Excellent. Take 3. 2, 1, and release. So give the arms a little shake. Okay, we'll go back to the first arm, whatever arm you chose. And it's almost like we're drawing a circle in front of the body and a circle behind, like a figure of 8. So part of the figure of 8 behind, part of the figure of 8 in front. So if you're feeling brave, you could add this on. You could do 1 minute, circle one direction, 1 minute circle in the opposite direction, and then 1 minute figure of 8. So you can bring a little bit of movement through the body on this one, so you're not completely static. Got that little bit of movement in through the joint, in through into the pelvis, a little bit of softness in the knees. Good. And again, I don't think this one quite wears as much as the circling. Well done. Okay, release that arm. Just give it a few seconds. And then we'll change to the other arm for the figure of 8s. So this is very much about actually moving into this joint. And if you put your other hand onto that, the top of that joint, you will feel the amount of movement that you've got into that joint. So very functional mobility. You're doing great. It's a good way of getting warmed up. Good. And we need to be warmed up for this next movement that I'm thinking of. So I've asked you to have a wall or a door available, and this is where we're going to just think about and explore what the movement in the shoulder joint itself is like, what range of movement we have. Good. Okay, so ease that arm down just for a second or two. Now, I can use my door here, so I'm just going to tip my camera to the door a little bit more. So if you can bring yourself to your wall or to your door, actually, I don't know whether I've actually probably it's just as easy for me to use my wall. So first of all, we want to think about moving the arm. So as I stand against the wall, I'm trying to think about having my arms, the back of my arms, the back of the shoulder, the back of the elbow and the back of the wrist and hand to the wall. Okay, I'm already getting warm now. I apologise, I forgot to put a bright coloured top on, so I hope you can still see me. So here I am against my wall. So most of us have the ability to have this amount of movement. Now just be careful when you're taking this movement that you're not flaring the ribs. So there's a little bit of moving internally with the rib cage. So have that sense of feeling the back of the thoracic spine, the back of the rib cage against the wall. And then I want you to start to gently move. So any arm will do. Just take one arm and see if you can start to move that into, it's like a semaphore, into a V shape. And then release it. Keeping the back of the hand, the back of the wrist on the wall. And then try the other arm. Good, and release. Okay, the arms are going to start to feel that they're aching a little bit. Maybe try 2 arms together. And release. Good, okay, release the arms down. Have a little breather. It's really intense, I'm not going to deny it. Woo! Okay, go back. Take the arms back into that T position. Fingers, backs of hands in line with armpits. Now this time I'm going to get you to bend into an elbow. Okay, now this could be easier or more difficult. Again, you're trying to keep the back of the wrist and the back of the hand on the wall. And then back to T. And the same thing with the other side. That's it, back to T. Okay, have a go with both. And then back to T, and then release the arms. I can feel the grunts and the groans and the aches and the pains. Now, remember we did it last week, but we rolled over a blanket, so we're able to kind of release a little bit by putting a bit of space in at the ribs, whereas this time I'm asking you to keep the ribs contained. Okay, in between the movements, I'm going to do a little head, neck, shoulder release. So I'm just going to get you from this position, still against the wall, just to bring the chin to the chest. Soften the knees a little bit and just see how far you can release the head, neck and shoulders whilst keeping the back of the rib cage on the wall. To what be far? But you could even do it with the palms turned out. And then when you come out, I want you to stack from the vertebrae. So stack the vertebrae one on top of the other rather than just throwing the head back. So feel that you've stacked the vertebrae of the upper back, you're stacking the vertebrae of the neck. Again, you've still got this little release. Okay, we're going to go again. You're going to take the arms against the back of the wall. Okay, now it's up to you. You can either stay with the V. So for most people, this would probably be preferable, especially if you've got any impingement in the shoulders. Or maybe you can go to a T. Okay, now I'm not going to lie and say, sorry, not a T, a W or a car arm. I'm not going to lie and say this is going to be simple. It is simple, but it's not easy. Because we are a nation in a 21st century rounding the upper shoulders forward. Okay, take it back into your T position. Let the arms release. Feel where the message is being sent to your body. Obviously, be mindful if you've got any injuries there. We're just going to do one more. This is really going to give you information about where you're at. The walls don't lie. Good. Try not to flare the rib cage. So remember, you're either going to go to car arms or you're going to go to a V-shape arm. And you're going to breathe while you're there. I can't check on your breathing online. Okay, that's fine. Okay, and then slowly ease back out. Woo. Okay, give yourself a little shrug of the shoulders. Okay, one last thing at the wall. So we're going to step slightly away from the wall. So maybe just one of your feet length away, which is going to give you the chance to bend the knees a little bit more. And again, actually we'll take the hands to the back of the head this time. We'll draw the elbows in towards each other, bring the chin to the chest. Try and keep the back of the ribs on the wall. Well, certainly the lower ribs. And again, just sense that release out through the upper back. Perhaps keep the back of the waist on the wall. And once again, as you come out, make the head lift last. So start to stack the vertebrae back against the wall. Stacking the vertebrae, stack, 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 stack. Elbows roll out to the side. head stacks on top of spine, and then release the arms. Good. And you can move yourself away from the wall. If you're anything like me, that came as a bit of a shock to me, that there was that limited range of movement in my shoulders. So what can we do about it? So the first thing that we can do, well, we've got two things at play here. One is the aging process. So the spine naturally compresses because the spinal discs become less viscous. And the other thing is we have the 21st century problem of laptops and driving and phones. Yeah. So what we want to be thinking about is being able to not only open up across the shoulders, but also try and activate this area at the back of the ribs. So what I'm going to get you to do is just pick up your strap. So this is on my first strap thing. And I'm going to take it into quarters, just to give my shoulders a little bit of space. So I'm holding the strap in between the palm of the hand and my thumb. I'm breathing in. I'm going to take that strap up to the ceiling. I'm going to drop my shoulders down if this is possible. To start with, I'm going to take a little turn to the right and then back to the centre, and a little turn to the left. That's it, and then back to centre. Then we're going to take a little turn to the right, and then we're going to do a side stretch to the left. So it's going to feel really weird. So you're doing this like a quarter turn to the right, and then you're doing a side stretch to the left. And then you're inhaling back to the centre. You're doing a quarter turn to the left, and then a side stretch to the right. Now I'm getting you to do this because I want to get those shoulders back. Okay, back to centre. Let's release this belt down. So what tends to happen when I give that instruction is that this happens. So in this instance, my left arm is collapsing forward. But if I do a little turn to the right first, and then I side stretch to the left, this right arm is not collapsing so much forward, it's opening backward. Okay, this all will become clear. So release the belt for now. Let's make sure we're completely warmed up and bring that into a little bit of sun salute. So I'm going to bring myself to the front of my mat. I'm going to stand with my feet hips distance apart. I'm going to soften my knees a little. Now, as I take my arms back, I'm actually going to physically turn my arms in the shoulder joints. So they're like little wings behind me. And then I'm going to palms away, take them behind me as far as I can go, and then press the palms together, gazing up to the thumbs. As I exhale, I'm going to take my arms way behind me, clasp them behind the back, point the two index fingers, and then exhale, hinge forward, pointing those two index fingers to the ceiling, feeling that sense of release. Now, as I inhale, I'm going to release my arms, but I'm going to flatten my back. Do you remember what we did last week? So I've got space at the back of my neck. My shoulders are flat. There's no rounding in there. I'm lengthening out. I'm activating the back of my shoulder blades. And I can do that with my arms extended behind me or with my hands on my shins. Then from there, I'm going to take my arms up again. Turn them in the shoulder joints. Imagine that the circles I'm drawing are coming behind me and then eventually ending up so that I'm looking at the thumbs. And then they're drawing back out, circle, behind the body, clasping the hands as they get there, pointing those index fingers, hinging forward. Then release the hands. Inhale, flatten the back, lengthen the back of the neck. Okay, one last time, breathing in. Take the arms back. Notice how easy it would be just to take them to the side. Exhale, take them back again. Clasp the hands. Inhale and then exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, flatten the back. Now this time, as I ease myself back up, take my arms up to the side again, bring my palms together, bring my hands into prayer. Good. So I'm going to keep going to go forward through that sun salute. So one last time, soften into the knees, take the arms away behind, big old circles, gaze up to the thumbs, circle the arms behind again so I can clasp the hands behind the back, hinge forward, and then flatten out with the back, sliding the fingertips to the floor, creating that space in the neck. From this position, I'm going to step back with that right foot. So I'm in what we call runner's lunge position. Keep my right fingertips on the floor. Bring my left arm so that it's in line with about my armpit. And then as I turn the right side of my ribs into the inner thigh, I'm going to float that left arm out to the side. I'm going to keep lengthening, keep turning until I feel that sense of stacking the shoulders. It's not easy. You've really got to put quite a lot of twist into the body to get the shoulders stacked. And then exhaling, releasing the arm back. Don't worry if you can't take the arm all the way. And then stepping that back into downward dog. Have a little walk out with the dog. Good. And then from here, drop the knees down to the floor. So we're coming onto all fours. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. So we're just going to slide that top chest forward again, just to make sure that spine is mobile. So chest, nipples, if you like, extending forward. This next movement is the only one I'm going to ask you to do with a rounded back. But actually, if you'll notice, the shoulders are not actually rounding that much. It's more rounding in the spine, the head and neck are releasing. Okay, take that again. Extend that top chest forward. And then take that lovely sense, lifting the front body up to the back body. Slide yourself into neutral. I want to add in this little rotation. Again, we're going to rotate to the left, and I'm not mirroring you. So I'm going to spin on my right knee and send my right rib cage to the left. So my right foot will slide behind the knee. My left foot is going to step foot in line with knee. Yeah, my right foot's disappeared. I'm going to come onto the fingertips of my right hand. Now again, I want you to really turn from the right side of the ribs so that the chest is lifting up to the sky. You're rolling this left shoulder back. And at that point, yet again, you may be able to stack the shoulders. Holding it there. Take some lovely breaths. And then from there, you're going to stick the bottom out. You're going to slide the left side of the ribs towards the inner left thigh. And you're going to pick up that left leg and step it forward, back to a lunge. That's actually a lunge on the other side. From here, we're going to take a crescent lunge, either with the back toes tucked under or the back foot flat. And again, try and feel this opening through the shoulder blades and the back of the thoracic spine. Gorgeous. From there, we're going to bring the hands either side of the front foot, tuck the back toes under, and then slide the back foot forward to the front foot, flattening the back. Lengthening through the back of the neck, and then exhaling, hinging forward. Bend the knees again, swoop the arms out behind you. Draw those big circles. As you bring yourself back up into standing, and as you exhale, just close that little movement vinyasa. Soften the knees again. Breathing in, swoop the arms as far behind as you can get them, big circles behind. As you exhale, take the arms behind again, clasp the hands, point the index fingers to the sky, fold forward. Breathing in, swoop those wings out, flatten the back. Can you stay with a flat back to bring the fingertips to the floor and step the left leg back? If you have to round the back, bring the hands off the floor. Take your left fingertips only to the floor and have your right arm in line with the right armpit. So remember, you're turning the left side of the ribs into the right leg, and you're going to open up, see if you can stack the right shoulder on top of the left. And you might not be able to, it's quite a big move. You really have to turn a lot from the middle part of the body to make that happen. Otherwise, you'll be impeding the movement at the shoulder rotator cuff. And then as you exhale, slide the hand back, step back into down dog, have a little walk out of the dog. And then just bring the knees to the floor. I apologise, you're going to be seeing my back. We're going to do exactly the same movement. We're going to inhale, send that top chest forward. We'll just do one set this time. Exhale, front body lifts up into back body. Broadening the shoulder blades. Inhale, neutral spine. And then this time you're spinning on the left knee to turn the rib cage to the right. You're going to bring the left hand underneath the left shoulder. You're going to keep turning the left side of the ribs to eventually stack right shoulder on top of left shoulder. It'll be slightly easier because you're moving into an open side of the body. And once you've got to that position, once you're stacked, send the rib cage inside of the right inner thigh. And then slide your right hand around that right leg and step the right foot forward, which is going to take you into that crescent lunge. That real sense of opening. Lovely job. And think about the chest lifting rather than the head just tipping back. This time, as you exhale, you're going to bring the hands either side of the front foot. You're going to tuck the back toes under, step back in, flatten the back. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, flatten the back again. Swoop the arms behind, big circles. I know it would be a lot easier not to have to make those huge circles. Breathe up to gaze to the look at the thumbs, and as you exhale, bring the hands down to the heart. Whew. Okay, this is intense, I'm not going to lie. Just one thing I should have said, when you're doing the arm circles, if you know that's painful or that's causing a problem, remember you could always do elbow circles. So it's the same movement, but there's less leverage. Yeah? So you're not having to throw the arm around. Most of you looked absolutely fine though. So, from our standing position, we're going to go back to our straps again. And you'll know this We lovingly call it shoulder flossing. So again, do what you can. The movements are the same as we made against the wall. So the first movement is to have the strap really quite wide so that your arms are evenly balanced and both straight. And then you're easing the strap up to the sky. And then you're activating, you're drawing the shoulder blades towards each other to be able to floss the strap behind your back. And then do the same as you floss the strap up to the ceiling without bending the elbows or being twitchy in the shoulders, and then bringing it forward. Try not to push the ribs forward. Doesn't matter how long the strap is, remember. We're not going for measurements, but if you feel that you can make it shorter after a few releases, that's fine. I'll just do 2 more. Remember, this is the V shape that you were doing against the wall. Okay, last one. And then bring the arms above the head and do a side-to-side floss. So almost like you're flossing between the shoulder blades. I'm going to turn my back to you so you can see that. You're going to feel some clicks and some creaks and some grunts. Okay, just like we did last week, how would it be if we kept one arm up towards the sky? Remember what we did with the bricks? Bend into that elbow, dangle the strap behind the back, and either stay with that movement or bring the other arm out to the side, turn the arm in the shoulder joint, and see if you can reach for the hand or the strap. Head of the cam. So a little bit more challenging than what we did with the brick, maybe. It's about mobility. Keep breathing. Please keep breathing. You know, to get these movements back into the body, we're going to have to really pay attention to them. From that position, change sides, bend into the opposite elbow, take whatever breaks you need. I'm always going to be using my other arm to help the elbow behind the head. And then I'm turning this arm in the shoulder joint to draw it back up the spine, to pick up the belt, or to pick up my fingertips. And of course, this is one of those use it or lose it positions. Keep breathing. Do as much as you can. Don't push too hard. Excellent. Okay, slowly ease back off. Just release the strap for a little while. Now, because our thoracic spine is quite tight, you might feel that you're now feeling a little bit of slight strain in the lumbar spine. So what I want from you from here is to bend into the knees and do some really active pelvic tilts. So really feel that you're kind of overdoing it. You're moving slowly, but you're really almost massaging through it. So instead of just, doing a quick pelvic thrust, I want you to really feel that you're feeling the amount of movement and mobility that you've got into this pelvis. Bend the knees. If you're doing it on a straight leg, you're going to be a lot more limited. You're looking good. Now I wonder if you can bring in a figure, a 4-point circle. So the next time you draw that front pubis up, you take your masculine, I want you then to move your hips to the left. And then to stick your bum out into feminine behind you and move your hips to the right. Come back through masculine. So you're going left, back, right, masculine. Yeah? So it's like a 4-point circle. Because all these areas of tissue are interconnected. So even though we're working with shoulders, the shoulder blades, the scapula, are definitively connected to the back of the body. Okay, I don't know if you can take it in the opposite direction, but give it a try. Again, just notice all those clicks and creaks that are coming out of the body. That's it. It's doing great. Excellent. Okay, last one. And then just bringing yourself into a standing position. Now, interestingly, I'm not going to ever be asking you to walk around with your arms like this because people think you're a bit weird. But actually what we do is the same in dog. So if you start your upper arms rolling out, excuse me, so have your upper shoulder and arms like this, but then just let the palms turn in. That's a much more natural position than doing this position. Palms facing back, shoulders forward. So we're just going to, again, just take that opening up with the top chest. At the elbows, you're just going to let the lower arms hang, but the top chest is going to stay expansive. Okay, how expansive can you then keep it? This time we're going to clasp the hands, press the palms forward, and bring the arms up alongside of the ears. So once again, we're taking a side stretch, but with a little bit of a twist. So if I just asked you to do a side stretch to the right, chances are you might draw that left shoulder forward. But what I want you to do is side stretch to the right, and this time just turn the head, neck and shoulders to the left so that you're kind of gazing into your inner left arm. So you feel this lift coming out of the left hip. Then the elbows if you need to. Breathing in, ease back to the center, and as you exhale, you side stretching to the left. But there's this sense of opening up into the right inner arm. And then ease back to center. Well done. Release the arms. Again, you might feel that in the lower back, so just pop a couple of circles, just regular circles this time, into the body. And the other way. Now, you might be thinking, how does this affect us in yoga practice? And you'd be absolutely right in thinking that. So let's have a little play. So first of all, take the legs wide. So wide leg standing, toes turn slightly in, heels turn slightly out. Most of us have got a hold on warrior now. So if you turn your left toes in, internal hip rotation on the left side, right toes out, and bend into the right knee without leaning forward towards that right knee. And then take the arms, palms facing upwards, let the arms extend out in line with the armpits so that we can engage the back of the shoulder blades. And then potentially just turn the palms down or the lower arms down. So we've got this sense of this movement. And then all we're going to do is turn the head and maybe gaze towards the right hand. And you can turn the right palm up. So you've got that sense of being grounded. In fact, at this position, we'll just bring in my favourite. Turn the right palm up, bring the left hand to the left thigh, and then take that gaze up into the inner right arm, this left shoulder back. Okay, where the problems come in, and I'm going to ease you back to that warrior two, is when we move into something like side angle. So for side angle, we're going to take a little bit of space over to the right. Now, we can all slide our right forearm onto the thigh like this. So it's not pushing in, it's resting on top of, but this is the problem. So this will want to roll forward. So this is where we're really being mindful about opening that left arm out to the side. I've turned my arm in the shoulder joint. My palm is facing upwards. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly twist to the left. So I'm turning the right side of my ribs, and I'm going to turn my head to the left. And then I can really explore how far I can side stretch to the right. Do you get that? So there's a little turn to the left and a side stretch to the right. There is no leaning forward with this left shoulder or left side. Okay, let's go back out of that, take the arms back into that T position and just counterpose that with our favourite reverse warrior. So we're on a much more open stance here, so you wouldn't really want to bring that right arm forward. Okay, let's ease back, take the arms wide, turn the feet back to parallel. We'll change sides. So we'll turn in, the right toes, right hip turns in, left foot turns to 90 degrees. We're not leaning over to the left, we're just starting with the arms, extending out to the side, offering, and then we can gaze towards the left hand. We can turn the palms over, maybe if we're just going to hold that warrior two position. Central line of energy. Pelvic floor reflecting on the floor. And then from there, turn to face your left hand, turn the left palm up, bring the right hand to the right thigh. Take that lovely opening position, gazing into the left inner arm. Beautiful. Good. Okay, let's inhale. Let's use that movement to then slightly, very slightly move to the left so that we can format this forearm, this left forearm onto the thigh. But then, of course, we need to turn the left side of the ribs to the right. So we've got that twist to the right. Turn the ribs, turn the head, and then take a side stretch to the left. So in all the movements, there's a slight rotation in one direction and then a side stretch in the opposite direction. You are not rotating inward. You're rotating outward. Lovely job. Let's finish that off, taking the arms wide. Counterposing, bring the right hand to the right leg, gaze into the inner left arm. Good. Okay, from there, bring the arms back, turn the feet back to parallel, Sailor Sam. Now, we've already talked about this, but I just want you to feel it as well. So, pick up your strap. Excuse me for coughing. And then bring the strap, and I'm just again going to turn my back to you, so that you've got your strap at the back of the body like this. So I've got the strap across the back of my rib cage. across the back of my shoulder blades, which is what they're meant to do, to stabilize and hold your arms out like this. Now, it's a big ask to do, I know, but let's just step the feet wide again. Let's compare how it feels. I'm just going to turn in. I'm going to get you to turn in your left foot and turn your right foot out 90. So you're back in your warrior 2 position. And then just let's see if it's possible. And I know it's going to feel awkward, but can you move, even if it's just part of the way, with that strap, mimicking the movement of the tissue at the back of the shoulder blades? Okay, it's going to be more difficult when you take the other position, when you take side angle. You're probably going to have to shorten the belt a little bit. But it's this left shoulder that I needed to concentrate on. This opening through the back of the shoulder blades. And then back to center. Excuse the awkwardness. Change sides. Bend into your left knee. Reverse. How's this going? I hope it's giving you some idea of where your shoulder blades and your tissue, you're looking good, guys. And then back to center. And then keeping that strap as tight as you can so that you've got that space at the back of the shoulder blades. So that little turn of the rib cage to the right with a side stretch to the left. Good. Okay, back to center. From here, release the strap. I know the arms are going to be like, what? Sailor Sam back to the middle. Give your arms a little release. What I find helps is to just bring the elbows into the side ribs like this. What I would call kind of jazz hands. Yep. The fingernails are moving backwards. The wrists are moving backwards. I'm going to bend my knees. And then I'm just going to keep my upper body still and just move my hips from side to side. So my hip is lifting up towards my elbow. At the same time, I'm pulling my nails backwards, fingernails backwards. Good. That's it. Okay, release the arms. Give those wrists a little shake off. So finally, in the standing movement, we're going to do exactly the same, but with Trikonasana, triangle position. It's exactly the same format as we've just done. So step the feet wide. The only thing that's different is the legs are extended. So let's do the same thing, turning in the left foot, turn the right foot out 90 degrees. Now, what I prefer to do with this is to do it on a stop the bus position. So what I'm going to do is just show you, if you can't remember, what it's going to look like. So basically what is going to happen is that you're going to soften into that right knee. You're going to lengthen out to the side a little bit. And then to stop your left shoulder moving forward, you're going to use the left hand to pick up the material on the trousers at the right buttock. Yes, it's going to look something like this. So your right arm is extended. Your left arm is being drawn back because you're holding on to the trouser leg, round about the right buttock. And then as you extend out to the right, you're turning to the left. So you're side stretching to the right, but your rib cage is turning to the left. And you're using your left hand behind to lengthen your right leg. Then that right hand is going to come somewhere in front of the thigh or the shin. Now, at that point, if you've turned enough to the left, you may be able to extend the left arm up and stack one shoulder on top of the other. Turning from the from the right side of the ribs and from the right side of the head. And breathing, of course. Yes, if the neck's aching, please just turn the head and have a little look down at your right foot. Okay, stay where you are, I'm just going to have a little look at you. Lovely, really nice. Okay, slowly ease back out. Never ever be fooled by people that do something like this. Yeah, this is not Trikonasana. This is leaning forward to touch the inside of your leg. Yeah, Trikonasana is about opening into triangle. Okay, let's change sides. And when you've got that, it really doesn't matter how far the hand goes down the leg. It doesn't matter. You know, I'd always rather you were here, just a little bit down the leg, but with the shoulders and the upper body open. But you're all further than that anyway, so take your right hand onto your right hip, bend into your left knee, extend your left arm, take a little bit of stop the bus. Good. Bring that right arm behind your back and take a hold of the trousers at the buttock of the left leg and then lengthen. Now what happens to me is that I have to turn my heel out, my right heel out some more. So what I'm basically doing is I'm spinning the left side of my ribs to the right and I'm side stretching to the left. Exactly the same movement we did in side angle. That's it, lovely. You can stack the arms if you want, but remember, if it's impinging the shoulder, so there's a couple of impingements there. So be honest, are you rolling that shoulder forward? A couple of you are rolling that right shoulder forward. Get it back. Lift it up a little bit. Don't go as far down the leg. Good. Okay, from there, turn back to the centre. Woo! Sailor Sam. All the way to standing. From this position, we're going to ease to the floor to give you another posture that we do regularly that has the same effect. So, I just thought we'd come down with a balance. If you don't want to do this, it's absolutely fine. But I thought we'd roll up onto the balls of the feet, we bend the knees, and we'll do a lowering squat. So you get all the cracks of the knees going. You can either bring the knees down, or what I quite like to do is bring my hands behind so that I'm sitting down on my bottom, but I've got this sense of opening into my shoulder joint. So again, shoulder blades sliding down the back, front of the rotator cuff opening, fingers pointing towards the bottom. Good. I'm not going to ask you to do that lift, tabletop. We're just going to stay with this one. That might be another lesson. And then keep lifting yourself back up and bring yourself into a wide leg seated position. So heels to the floor, remember, toes to the ceiling. Now you may want to use your strap for this. Okay, so I'm just going to take my loop a little bit bigger. Again, there's lots of things you can do with straps. So let's have a little play around with where we're at. So I'm going to get you to take your right leg, bend into the right leg and bring the right foot inside the left inner thigh. Same principle. We're going to spin around to actually twist towards the right leg. So I've got my hands either side of the right knee, my rib cage, my belly button is pointing towards the right knee. Then, for this movement, which is twisting, Jafara Padariti, or Janusarasana. Anyway, twisting movement. You're going to bring your left hand down inside of your left leg, twisting Janusarasana. So you're twisting to the right, but side stretching to the left. Yeah, same movement. Now, what we do often do here is roll this arm back, and you can take a bent elbow here. So bend at the elbow, take the fingertips onto the shoulder. It's very nice. Or you could take that right arm away behind you and up towards the sky. But the more you twist to the right, the more you can side stretch to the left. Keep sliding the shoulder blades down the back. So as a guide, if you can gaze into your inner top arm, you're probably in about the right position without impinging your shoulder. Good. Okay, let's ease out from that first movement. This time, I'm going to loop the strap around my left foot. So now I've got a bit of leverage. So I've got this, my hand is on top of the strap, and I'm going to hold it like this, palm facing upwards. That's going to mean I can twist a little bit deeper, maybe bend my left elbow inside of my left leg. I've got more twist. I could even soften my left knee a little bit. And then again, I'm stacking. I'm stacking, I'm gazing, and I'm lengthening from my right side waist. Ooh. Strong posture. Keep breathing. Well done. Breathing in. Ease to the center. Gosh, these are strong, aren't they? Take that right leg out. Let's change sides. So I've popped my left foot inside of my right leg. So initially, I'm going to turn my whole body to face my left leg. That's it. Brilliant. Now just make sure that that right leg behaves. Heel to the floor, toes to the ceiling. Keep your tummy button moving towards your left knee and slide your right arm inside of your right leg. Okay, this is a slightly harder version. And again, both sides will not be the same. Maybe you can bend at your left elbow, keep the fingertips on the shoulder, roll the shoulder back, and then open that left arm. Maybe. If you're impinging though, come on, want the chest lifting, don't drop the chin. And then maybe you've got a little bit of space if you're able to look into that left inner arm. Nice. Good. Let's take the modified version, which I personally prefer. So release the arms. Take the strap. Loop it around your right foot. Bend into the elbow, maybe soften a little bit into the knee and get more twist. So the more you twist to the left, the more chance you have of being able to stack the shoulders. Don't forget the head. Draw the chin to the back of the throat. Brilliant. And then maybe you can start to side stretch some more, but you're still opening, you're still twisting. Feel that length coming out of the left side. It's a great movement. Well done, breathing it in. Woo! Ease back to the center. Let's release. Take it back to that V shape. A tall, seated position. Remember, if the hamstrings are limiting your movement there, feel free to bend the knees a little bit. Remember, this is a yoga posture. Good. Now, as we slide the legs together, you might have to crane them in. Give them a little shake out. And slide back so that your feet are on the mat. You're back to that position. Now, the last time we did this, we had the palms facing in. It's also interesting to have the palms facing out. Again, it's putting the shoulders into a different mobility movement. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move these arms out, out, out. At some point, you're going to turn the palms to face upwards and slide down into semi-supine. Now, what I'm hoping that you'll find is that you are now laid on the middle part of your scapula, the middle part of the shoulder blade rather than the top part of the shoulder blade. If that hasn't happened, feel free to lift the shoulder blades from the floor, to draw them, lengthen them, so that you're lying on the middle of the shoulder blade, and then soften the back of the waist. So you're not going to keep the back of the waist lifting off the floor. It's going to soften back to the floor. And then from here, I want you just to sense what I talk about all the time about letting your arms move into sleeves. So from this position, imagine that you've got one of those strange sweaters on that comes across the back of the shoulder blades. You're moving your arms into sleeves out of the back of the shoulder blades, and eventually those arms are coming into beach ball. Soften at the elbows, fingertips in line with the ribs. And you're breathing. It should be, I'm hoping, a magnificent feeling. Okay, let's see if we can float the arms, moving from the shoulder blades out into a T position. Okay, again, almost feeling that you're connecting to the core by drawing the back of the waist to the floor. That may well allow the backs of the hands to come off the floor, and then you're floating them into beach ball. Okay, I want to have a look at this. So I want you to float your arms back into that T position. Nice. And then when you're ready, engage through the core. Slide the back of the waist to the floor and let the arms float back to beach ball. From beach ball, without using the top of the rotator cuff, I'm just going to get you to slide your right knee and then your left knee to your chest. Now, sometimes when we go to hug the knees, we start to activate the top of the rotator cuff again. So this time, all I want you to do is lengthen the arms towards the base of your mat, still moving from the shoulder blades, and just slide the backs of the hands, sorry, not the backs of the hands in at the backs of the knees. So no disturbance to the shoulders. From here, I'm just going to roll you over to the side and pop on your warm clothes. We're already at relaxation. Now, even as you pop on your warm clothes, try and think about, and toddlers are great role models. When children start to walk and they're kind of toddling around, they actually instinctively move from their shoulder blades. They only learn bad habits from us supposedly wise adults. So even as you go to put your arms into sleeves, think about that sense of moving through the back of the body. I'm kind of thinking like this sort of movement. And then, of course, you're going to find that little bit of freedom and space. Maybe in semi-supine, maybe in Shavasana. And once you settle, allow facial features to soften. Eyes sink into the eye sockets. The lips melt. And as that face relaxes, just allow the corners of the lips to turn up. To allow smile to emerge, not just across the face, across the collarbones, across the backs of the shoulders, across the hips, and finding this sense of smiling into the inner elbows, the inner thighs, linking in to the gentle movement of the breath. So through your softening and releasing and surrendering, maybe just gently starting to increase the depth of the breath, to become aware of the space around you, noises around you. And maybe start to bring some gentle movement to the body. A stretch or a sigh. Wiggle fingers and toes. And there's absolutely no rush for you to explore and move. Maybe testing out that thought of sliding the knees to the chest without using the tops of your shoulders, with being able to use the arms extending out of the shoulder blades. And eventually, when you're ready, moving yourself up to sitting. Any seated position will do. Feeling the grounding of the sit bones, the ball of the pelvis, and then this sense of length, the spine elongating out of the pelvic ball. And this release of these top shoulder rotator cuffs. Maybe you're going to feel a little bit like a band of support across the back of the thoracic. And then taking the arms as far behind as you can, drawing those circles around the body, gazing up to the thumbs. And as you exhale, sealing the practice down through the third eye, to the lips and throat, and to the heart. Namaste. Well done, guys.